Nah. On the 7th day of the 7th month, on the 7th year, a knowing surfaced, quiet but crystal clear. Not born from noise, not shaped by fear, but carved from truth when illusion disappears. We live in a world dimmed by distraction, where belief is louder than observation, where people inherit conclusions without questioning the math of causation. Understanding is knowledge refined, wisdom is knowledge aligned, and the divine doesn't rule through chaos, it governs through order and mind. Humanity was shaped to cultivate, to protect, to balance, to regulate, caretakers of soil and sea and sky, not conquerors chasing reasons why. Gifted with skill, vision and art, but disconnected we dismantle what we start. We exist in a narrow in-between, not heaven, not hell, but a pressure zone unseen. A space where ego whispers loud, where impulse wears a righteous crown, where unchecked desire multiplies doubt and confusion passes wisdom around. Like seed to soil, intention matters. Like breath to body, alignment scatters or gathers life depending on aim. Direction that says the outcome, not the name. So the work begins within the self, correction before correction of anyone else. Heal the mirror before fixing the frame, because projection is easier than change. Respect the rhythm of land and time, the cycles of moon, the mathematics of mind. Synchronize thought with natural law and reduce the harm we normalize. Because imbalance doesn't need permission, it rolls quietly through repetition. And when consequence arrives at the door, we blame fate instead of what we ignored. The earth responds, not with vengeance but truth. Reaction is neutral, intent is the proof. Nothing of value grows from neglect, only lessons humanity keeps trying to forget. We drift further from center each year, like signals lost that we barely hear. Disconnected from roots, from instinct, from care, replacing communion with consumption and glare. Creation was never meant to be disposable, nor identity meant to be opposable. Confusion thrives where guidance fails, where reflection is traded for labels and scales. I don't point fingers, I point to cause. When systems confuse, individuals pause. Lost people aren't broken or weak, they're thirsty for meaning, searching to speak. But thirst without wisdom seeks shortcuts, and shortcuts invite distortion. That's how noise replaces truth, and urgency replaces proportion. Education slows collapse, awareness interrupts the loop of truth. Truth liberates, without chains, without groups, because deception can hide, but it leaves a trace. And wisdom recognizes shape beneath face. Like sunlight rising, clarity stings, especially to those invested in shadows and things. Most people were taught what to think, not how. Conditioned to follow, not question the now. That's why the few feel pressure to speak, not to dominate, but to steady the weak. We rebuild with language, not fire, with patience, not panic or blind desire. We lay foundations that actually hold, using insight instead of inherited mold. Now is not the time to shrink or stall, but to stand grounded, awake and resolved. Not running from truth, not hiding from weight, but choosing responsibility over fate. Because clarity ends fear, and courage ends delay, and growth begins the moment we stop looking away. That is not prophecy. That is pattern recognition. And that is my wisdom in brief.